Jillian Michaels is just not having a not having a good couple of months here, at least in a row. So for those who are not aware, Anna Kasparian, who is a co-host with Cenk Uygur at TYT, is also a part of this show called Her Take. So it's four women. One of them is Jillian Michaels, and they all get together and they have this podcast, and it's different political ideologies, and they just talk about, politics and all that type of stuff, right? So and I guess good for Anna too, like doing something else, other than, like TYT, also trying to do something different. But the show was called Her Take, and they have times where they butt heads because it's four women with different political ideologies. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if any of you have ever had a workplace environment where it's all women. I have one time. Never again. It was a contract position for me, admin position, and the entire department was all women. And I got to tell you, I would never do that again. Never. Not for me. Okay. No shade to, the ladies, but I can't ever do that again. But as you will see in this particular conversation, apparently it got so heated that Jillian Michaels just couldn't take it. She was triggered. Let's see what set things off. It started off here. They're actually talking about Charlie Kirk and the whole Israel issue combined as one. And this is them here at the bottom right-hand corner, and they are watching what Patrick Bet-David says here on PBD podcast. And then they start to discuss it. And I just want to show you how crazy this gets.
The journalist behind the report accusing Bibi of offering $150 million is Max Blumenthal, a man who used to work for the Iran-backed newspaper Al Akbar in Beirut and contributed
Jewish?
to Al Jazeera.
Is, yeah. I mean,
why is it every time we track down a lie, we end up finding people connected to Qatar or Iran?
There's no proof this ever happened.
So,
none.
Wait, how does that debunk the fact
so
that
he just read it? Where's your proof that $150 million was offered from Bibi Netanyahu?
Pause. Right out the gate, Jillian is very defensive. Now, we didn't had some things to say about Jillian before on the show. It comes across to me that she's very pro-Israel, but she just comes out the gate pretty defensive. I'm like, yeah, like what is happening here? Okay. So of course she comes in and wants to defend or whatever. The little smear there that they gave about Max Blumenthal, they've tried to do this a lot where they're like, oh, these journalists, they used to work for Iran or da-da-da-da. And doesn't even necessarily mean that they worked for Iran. But what they'll do is like, if you make an appearance like on Press TV, for example, okay, Press TV is in Iran. So what other podcasters, especially those that are pro-Israel, have done before in the past is they've kind of been known to smear people who go on Press TV. Because they're like, oh, that person was on Press TV. That's Iran state media. And then they'll even go as far as to say that you worked for them, right? And sometimes it's simply just writing articles. When people are independent journalists and they're on their own, they're trying to get work where they can, right? So sometimes maybe he wrote articles for them or something. So what? What does that have to do with Israel's genocide? What does that have to do with Charlie Kirk not taking Benjamin Netanyahu money? So do you see how they mix these things all in together? Back to Her Take. Now, Jillian is upset because she's like, whoa. Where's the proof that he turned down $150,000? She comes out hot right out the gate, fam.
No, I'm referring.
Where is the proof?
Please do not get any.
No, because I didn't want to cover this and you guys insisted. And I told you cover this shit, I'm going to rip you apart. Where?
Okay, pause right here. Why did she not want to cover it? Because it's negativity about Israel. That's why she didn't want to cover it. The woman that she is speaking to, Lee, whatever, this woman was a part of like the Democratic Party at one point, worked with the Democratic Party very well. She was one of the people that smeared Bernie Sanders supporters, by the way. I don't know if everybody remembers this. She was one of the people that was doing that. And then apparently, I guess she had some disagreements under the Biden administration. She decided to split. And then she's been going on show after show since then, talking about all these things that were happening, I guess, behind the scenes with the Democratic Party. That's where she comes from. Okay. And just like that, she gets to be a part of this project, this Her Take project here with Jillian Michaels and Anna Kasparian. I forget the other woman's name. But she didn't want to talk about it because it has to deal with Israel. Yikes.
Where is the proof?
We're not saying that it
Netanyahu
We're really
offered
not
Charlie
saying that it
$150 million.
Jillian,
okay, so we're not. Okay, so
what we're reporting on is
now
people in the marketplace, what they're saying. This is a discussion that's happening literally everywhere. We would be remiss if we didn't cover it to debunk it.
This conversation.
It's still,
over a week.
It's still pretty prevalent.
Is a week old.
It's still going on, Jillian.
Okay, well, nevertheless, where is the proof that actually happened?
I just said, according to this guy's reporting, he was offered $150 million.
Okay, that was also corroborated by Candace.
It was corroborated by Candace, and not only that, by Nick,
and also
because listen, I like Candace. She has people from his own team have said he has not seen her in years.
And yet last year they were on tour together. Last year they were on tour together. He bumped that instantly.
And this is why I don't want to work with only women. This is like, and I've been there before. I don't know. Maybe it's because I kind of grew up as a tomboy or whatever. I just found guys to be much more, I don't know, palatable, right? Like I ain't got to deal with all this. Guys just say what's on their mind. They get it out there and they keep it moving. That works great for me because I'm very direct. All this, I'm not trying to deal with all that. I just can't. I can't. Right. So listen, when someone is a source and they are an anonymous source, which a lot of times they are, obviously they are not going to say, okay, well, this is my source. This is the person who gave me this information. So obviously Max is not going to do that. The question is, though, why is Jillian so triggered? Why does this woman just did that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't.
I want to talk about people in his team.
Time they've been on camera together was 2023.
No, it was last year. They have a tour person together.
Everybody on his team. Let's just calm down for a second. Subsequently said this is not true.
No, they never. They actually.
Colvin, Eric Bolling, all of them are like, yeah.
Okay, Eric Bolling thought that he had 2 daughters. Okay, so I'm not going to.
Okay, Andrew Colvin. The narrative is not true. Charlie has a cordial relationship with Ackman. There's no black woman, no intervention. Nothing like what Candace is suggesting.
That same Andrew said that Candace and Charlie remain friends. I just want to make sure.
He's saying this is not true.
But they were literally.
So she is trying to explain to Jillian, after Jillian said that Candace and Charlie haven't been friends for years, she's trying to explain to Jillian that Andrew, who was Charlie's friend, said they have been friends. So she's just trying to correct her here, right? But this is what happens when you're so ready to just go, right? Soon as someone says something negative about Israel, here comes Jillian. The same Jillian who had all these things to say, oh, but slavery was just the blah. But you say something negative about Israel and she's ready to fight you, fam. There is something wrong with this woman.
Touring together last year. Nothing like what Candace is suggesting. What does it have to do with their friendship?
What does it have to do with you?
What does that have to do with their friendship? He's saying what Candace is suggesting. I can't engage with you if you don't. He's saying what Candace is suggesting is not true.
He's talking about her suggesting Israel killed him. We're talking about 100. Please do not conflate the two.
Okay. Well, unilaterally across the board now, we've got multiple accusations that all pile up to the same exact.
No, I think it's the furries. It's the furries. I think it's the furries. But a lot of people.
I don't know, and I don't look. There's for those who are saying evidence to suggest none.
Okay, you're saying
guys. Can we stop for a second? This is ridiculous. This is absurd.
Like this whole thing is ridiculous. There are 2 things being conflated right now. There are conspiracy theorists who think Israel killed Charlie Kirk. They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End of story.
We're not talking about that today.
I am talking about something entirely
different. Talking about
no,
that.
we're not. Hold on.
Oh,
let me finish my fucking.
Again, this is why. This is why I prefer to hang out with the dudes, right? So here's the thing. Two things can be true, right? So people can think or can feel or believe that Israel had something to do with this. Some of you feel that way. We've discussed that before on the show. That doesn't necessarily make them a conspiracy theorist. You're allowed to think or believe something, right? The other part where they say, well, there's no evidence, there doesn't necessarily have to be evidence present for you to believe something. I'll use a perfect example. There are thousands and thousands of Americans that go to church every Sunday and believe in Jesus Christ. Thousands of them. But they can't see Jesus Christ. They can't touch Jesus Christ. They can't feel Jesus. Well, maybe inside you could say you can. But do you see what I'm saying? There's no physical evidence that they can tangibly hold and grab and say that Jesus is here. But you believe it. So I guess I just don't understand like why it's so difficult for Jillian of all people to believe that, right? So Jillian can have an issue with the article. Maybe she disagrees. Maybe she's like, well, I don't think that's true. That's fine. You can feel that way. But the amount of hostility that she had right off the bat, that tells me something deeper. That tells me something else about Jillian. Now, Anna is trying to finish her point here.
No, and I don't look.
There's
for those who are saying
evidence to suggest none.
Okay, you're saying guys, can we just stop for a second? This is ridiculous.
This is absurd.
Like this whole thing is ridiculous. There are two things being conflated right now. There are conspiracy theorists who think Israel killed Charlie Kirk. They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End of story.
We're not talking about that.
I am talking about something entirely
different.
talking
about
no,
that.
we're not. Hold on. Let me finish my fucking thought. Okay, the real issue here is that before most people even knew that Charlie Kirk was dead, you have Netanyahu giving multiple interviews talking about how, using the fucking moment for his own political purposes, like the fucking ghoul that he is.
Nah. So here's the thing. Two things can be true at the same time. What they were talking about in the beginning was not taking the money from Netanyahu, that he was offered money from Netanyahu. Okay. That's what that was about. And then it kind of spiraled into this whole thing. So it's like, it could be true that Israel did not have anything to do with the death of Charlie Kirk. It could also be true that maybe Israel did have something to do with that. But it can also be true, and it is true, that Benjamin Netanyahu jumped on corporate news right after Charlie Kirk died and started doing like this media tour of Israel had nothing to do with this. Hello? Very weird. Very, very weird. Also very weird that I told you before that he was so invested in an American podcaster. Why is the leader of another country going on to Western news to talk about a letter that was written to him from Charlie Kirk, which he does not show you, jumps out front and says Israel didn't have anything to do with it? That is weird and that is bizarre. So two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, Netanyahu's behavior has been weird and questionable around this particular situation. And yes, true that there's no evidence that has been presented, no physical evidence that has been presented that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. So two things can be true at the same time. But it seems like Jillian seems to be focused on, well, they mentioned that he denied money from Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, that can also be true. All three of these things can be true at the same time. And that's the problem. The problem is, it seems like a lot of times, especially in these spaces, it seems like everything has to be either this way or that way. And there's no in between. Or there's no two things can be true at the same time. And it seems like to me, I think that's what they're trying to explain to Jillian, if she would just calm down. And she doesn't seem to want to hear it. And that's why I think this is why Anna is so upset.
They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End of story. We're not
talking about that.
I am talking about something entirely
talking
different.
about that.
No, we're not. Hold on. Let me finish my fucking thought. Okay? The real issue here is that before most people even knew that Charlie Kirk was dead, you have Netanyahu giving multiple interviews talking about how, using the fucking moment for his own political purposes, like the fucking ghoul that he is. Let me finish my point.
Him killing Charlie Kirk.
Did I not just
said that?
I literally
Okay, so now we're just gonna make
let me finish my point, Jillian, because none of us can finish the damn point without someone else jumping down your throat. I don't think that Israel killed him because there's no evidence of that. But I had a problem with Netanyahu exploiting an assassination in this country for his own political means and purposes and lying about the nature of his relationship with Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk didn't like Netanyahu, just like any warm-blooded American shouldn't. Netanyahu is a bad guy. And he wanted to make it seem like, no, we were all great. We were good. We had a great relationship. Little did we know behind the scenes, there was a lot of pressure toward
ends up
Netanyahu.
being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I am not interested in this.
Okay,
I love
I
you
know.
guys.
I'm sorry. Let's be good. Let's be good about precious Israel. Let the country commit a genocide. Yeah. Okay.
Zero. I think you guys agree. I fundamentally disagree with you about like every show doing this. I'm sorry.
Cool. So can we continue the conversation?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Bye, Felicia. We gotta drop the pressure beat. I'm sorry.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever.
A moment can live on forever. Shout out to Nick Caution. I wanted to say she walked away. She says she can't do it.
Okay.
You wanted to do it anyway.
Finish the last topic.
All right.
All right.
Wow. Okay, guys. So, again, to clarify, I don't think Israel did it. And you want to know what's crazy is the person who is labeled the #1 anti-Semite out there, who has been anti-Semitic for the last 10 years, Nicholas Fuentes, has come out and said there is no evidence that suggests that Israel did it. And that's actually what I was literally just about to show.
No one on the show is saying that.
We can play that, please, really, guys. Thank you.
They say
so. She didn't come back. Jillian did not come back. Jillian was like, I got to get up out of here, fam. You guys are talking about Israel, so I got to go. Like just watch this.
Yeah. Okay.
Zero. I think you guys agree. I fundamentally disagree with you about like every show doing this. I'm sorry.
Cool. So can we continue?
I think you guys are great, but I fundamentally disagree with you, so I have to leave. Isn't the whole point of this show supposed to be about 4 women, different political views, different political ideologies coming together to have these conversations? I think it's supposed to be like, their version of The View, or maybe how they wish The View would be. And Jillian is out. Now, why is this important? You see how heated she was when the conversation is about Israel? Okay. Let me take you back to what she said just a couple weeks ago. Remember this?
He's not whitewashing slavery. So
he's not?
He's not. No,
okay.
He's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you look at slavery, let's talk about the fact
that slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans own slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were.
Do you know who
was
the first race to try to end slavery? Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
What was interesting about this part, number one, we debunked, when we covered the story, we debunked the numbers. She was wrong about the 2%. Again, not knowing what the hell she's talking about. Stick to fitness. Anyhow, what was interesting about this is, do you see how angered she was when Israel was even just mentioned, right? That Charlie Kirk turned down money from Benjamin Netanyahu, as was reported by the Gray Zone, right? You see how angry she got? No one on that panel said that Israel killed Charlie. Not one of those women said that. but she just couldn't take it. But on this panel, imagine if all of them that were sitting at that table, imagine if they would have reacted the same way that Jillian did after the comment that she made about slavery. Only less than 2% of the population, so which that was wrong. You see the difference? It's like she can dish it, but she can't take it. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm like, if there's something to be offended about, it was the way that she tried to downplay slavery. But she was more outraged by someone just simply mentioning that the Gray Zone article had a source that said Charlie Kirk turned down that money from Benjamin Netanyahu. That is a no-go for her. But not this. Jillian Michaels has an adopted Black daughter. Actually, she's from Haiti. And Haiti had a slave rebellion. You know, it just, you know, I don't, and I told you this, I said this why I can't, not with the women, not with the women. No. And it's like, I have female friends, but I just, you know, every now and then, like I guys keep me sane. Men, do you know this? Like, you keep me sane. Because if I just want to talk about sports, I can just sit down and just talk about the game. Not all this other stuff, not who's dating who. I can watch the Patriots play the Kansas City Chiefs and not get into the Taylor Swift is engaged to this guy and there she is in the stands. And did you know that they were out at this place last week? No, I just want to watch the game. I just don't have time. I just don't have time for it. So if you can do that, you know, kudos to you. Maybe you could teach me something for the women who are watching. Maybe you can teach me something. I don't know. I'm pretty direct and that might rub some people the wrong way. I'm pretty direct. But yeah, I just don't have time for all that, you know? But the way that they were talking over each other like that, and then the scream is like, I just can't take this. I'm out. I don't know. Yeah. It's just interesting. It's interesting. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.